This is a review and a walk-around tour of the Honda EU7000is generator. This generator came out in 2016, and it's probably one of the best home generators you can get that's a portable. So this is going to give you a little bit of information about how it works and what I think of it. So my background, I've owned a number of generators, Hondas, Yamahas, many others. I think this is one of the best. The big difference with this generator is that it's fuel injected. So what that means for you is it's quieter, doesn't require as much maintenance in terms of storage issues, and the runtime is much longer. So on a full tank of gas, this thing is supposedly able to run about 12 to 15 hours, and if you run it on its eco mode, which means that it'll ramp up or ramp down depending on the load, you can run up to 20 hours. And in my practical experience, I've seen run times like that, so I'm very impressed by it. So one of the first things you'll notice with the Honda is that you can actually, has built-in handles, and you can latch them in place, which makes it really easy to walk around. So these come factory with it, including the wheels, and you can very easily move it around. So this generator is not super light. So we'll take another tour here to take a look around. So we'll start with the top, and you'll notice here, it's a great setup. So you get a fuel gauge here. You can see how much gas is in it. These aren't always perfect, but they work pretty well. Obviously you have your fuel filler here. Undo this so you can see what's inside. So you might be surprised. So if you see that red ring in there, that's actually a visual indicator. So when you fill it, they don't want you to fill gasoline beyond that ring. So you can see I'm fairly close, but that's really where I want to be. And it's got a chain on that as well, so you don't lose it. So this is the big difference. You notice here it says FI for fuel injection. The Honda EU7000is is fully fuel injected. There's no carburetor, so you don't have carburetors to gum up. Now, people who are traditionalists are going to tell you that that can be a problem because obviously fuel injection is complex, and you know, time will tell, but generally Honda makes a pretty solid product. And since this is their first fuel injected generator in the United States, I would imagine they've probably got the best engineering in it. So let's take a look at what's in each side of this as well. So each side of this generator has a door, and to get in you need one tool, a little flathead screwdriver. So let's pop this in and see what we've got. Just turn it a quarter turn, and these really great doors open up. Let's see if we can zoom in to give you a shot. So what's on this side, and it's pretty nice, that's actually your spark plug access. Spark plug access right here. Your air cleaner is down below, which is right there on the bottom, and there's two simple latches there on the left and right. And that lets you do pretty easy maintenance, and that's really all there is. So you have three things to do on this machine for the most part, or four I guess if you add gas. So you have gasoline, you have a spark plug, you have an air filter, and you have your oil. And that's really it, so I guess four things. So let's close this side. And you'll notice that all these doors have rubber gaskets on them, and that's really great because when this thing closes up, it's sealed tight, and that keeps water out, but it also ensures that you have the right ventilation. So on the back, you'll see you have your air vents and the exhaust. The exhaust is right there. And these are more heat vents on the top. Kind of look like vents you'd have in your house, but zoom around to this side. And so this is really the side that you'll likely be at more often. So again, you just use your flathead screwdriver, quarter turn, open this up. And again, notice these gaskets on the side. Hopefully you can still see that in the shot. So in one of my other videos, you'll see that this is a really, really great bonus on this generator. So this generator is fully electric start, but if that start should fail, you have a manual pull start right there. Let's see if we can get a good shot of that. So right here, so you can fully start this generator. So if the battery on this generator dies, which it's going to at some point, you can use that pull start to still stay in business. So obviously with a generator, the point is you need it when power's out and whatnot. So, and down here, that's your oil check. Just a simple dipstick. You just unscrew that. And then when you want to change your oil, way down there, you're going to see a small bolt, and I'm going to point that out for you. This bolt right here is your oil drain. And what's really clever is they even put a little ramp right here so that when the oil comes out, it drips down. And there's a small plug in the bottom. See if I can get you a shot of that. That black square right there actually pops out. So when you drain your oil, you can put a pan right underneath this and catch your oil. So it's a very clever design. Honda's great with stuff like that. Close this back up. Again, a quarter turn. And the last thing I'll show you is the control panel. So let's take a look at what you get here. All right. So for your control panel, there's a few things you want to know about. First off, this is your main switch. This is actually a key, so if you have kids or you don't want people messing with it, it's not really a security key, it's just a key for general safety. So when you put that in, you turn it once, all it does is it's either off or on. So when you're going to get ready to use it, you switch it to on. You'll have a display here that shows you everything from your engine hours to your RPMs, and there's some other diagnostic data as well. This button here, just like today's cars, engine start, you'll see when I push this, hold it in, generator starts right up. Switch off, generator's going to stop. So other things you should know about, this is your eco switch here. When you start it, you want it in the off position, which means the generator is not going to run in eco mode. That means it runs full speed, and that's important. But when it's running and you switch that on, the generator will actually slow down as needed, and I'll show you that as well. You got your electrical outlets here. These are depending on what your hookup is. Obviously regular household outlets. This is what most people use for this size generator. This is a 50 amp. This is a 30 amp. And it's got a circuit breaker as well. And then you have a different style 30 amp. These are used with RVs and campers a lot, and some houses. Really important one here, 120 volt switch or 240 volt. Most houses, if you have well pumps or something high power, you're going to use a 240. So you need that. This little door here, I'm not going to open it, but inside is your battery. Well, maybe I will open it. Let's see this. Let's zoom in here. All right. Inside of here, hope you can get a shot of that. That is where your little mini battery is. You might recognize that if you're a big ATV guy. Those are actually the same batteries that they use in kids' toys and similar type machines. So this little cover just has some latches. Put this back on. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start this generator. I'm going to show you eco mode. So we're going to start this. So again, switch this to on. You don't really have to wait. I'm going to push the start and hold it in. When she starts, I'm going to leave it. Now, the way I use eco mode, and again, this is the loudest the generator gets. I think you can see my display. I have 20 hours on it. So I'm going to engage the eco switch now. I'm going to switch it to on, and you can listen to the change in generator. I'm not going to talk. So now that is running in the slowest mode possible, and it's very quiet. I think you can still hear me right over it, and I'm only about 3 feet away from the generator. So that's pretty amazing. So that's how you would typically leave it in your house, and it would ramp up and down depending on load. So it's actually a great way to save fuel and to use your machine effectively. But when you're not using it normally, you're going to leave it off, and I'll switch that in a second. And I think the last thing to point out is this little light right here, and I hope you can see that. You can see it's green right now. That's what you want. There are some orange and red lights there, and they're usually a fault condition, so hopefully you'll never see those, but it's good to know that they're there. So I'm going to switch this back, full power. We'll let it run for a second, and you can listen to it.